What is Incelcore?
I don't know how to play, and I don't want to anyway. Need to delete this game and go back to another save.
I know, even the name alone will either incite laughter or anger, but this is a real style of music. You might be wondering why I'm even covering it. It's weird, controversial, and not even really metal. However, I do think in some ways, Incelcore is grunge for Zoomers. I think it shares a lot of its qualities. From it being a muddled amalgamation of multiple rock genres to its absurdist themes.
I won't pick up the phone, 'cause I don't speak to horns, I don't speak to horns. I don't speak to horns, no you don't, I fucking wanna rather be alone. 'Cause I'm an artist of never, I'm awkward forever, I'm so stressed when we're talking, I'm a social disaster.
And as distinct as the style is, it definitely still possesses the doomer spirit that Black Sabbath and Nirvana had. The most notable Incelcore band is Negative XP. The song Life is an RPG and I F'd Up My Build is their best in my opinion.
The simulation's fucked, everything and everybody sucks, and PCs hate my guts. I wanna quit, want to log off.
And truly captures the essence of the doomer zoomer.
Internet buzzwords running my brain. Are you killer,
Negative XP is very much a product of the internet age.
I spend too much time on the computer screen. Now my mind is fried with negativity.
One of their albums is called Gamer, which itself is a bit of a meme, but the cover art for it is basically just the meme, "Are ya winnin', son?" And it showcases disappointed parents looking at their son playing video games, which is a pretty common condition among Zoomers. The term incel or involuntary celibate also would not exist without the internet. When you realize that the genre's name is literally just virgin hardcore, you see how ridiculous it all is and how much absurdity has been induced by the internet. Besides references to the internet and meme culture in its lyrical themes,
my soul is eroded, 5G is corrosive, the internet'll fuck you up and you never know it.
some other things that distinguish Incelcore from grunge are 1. Its crappy lo-fi production.
Having real goals has been erased. Now we wait for the numbers to go up. All day the numbers on the screen must go up. The numbers on the screen must go up.
The production is often intentionally garbage, and I think it really enhances just how apathetic it is. In fact, bizarrely enough, Incelcore occasionally incorporates some black metal elements, which fit rather well since both genres showcase horrible production quality, as well as an existential rejection of modernity. Number 2. Electronic music is often mixed in, and this will typically be chiptune or other video game music, like Atari sound effects.
Life is like a game. Every level feels the same.
Incelcore is memed to be gamer music after all, so it makes sense that it would take influence from video games. Number 3. Oddly enough, it seems to take some influence from 50s and 60s type rock and roll, like rockabilly and surf rock. This also fits, as there is some longing for earnestness and wholesomeness that is completely lacking in grunge.
With a hard-headed woman, a soft-hearted man, they've had some trouble ever since the world began, oh yeah, ever since the world began. I love 65.
Other than these features though, the genres are quite similar. In truth, Incelcore doesn't sound too dissimilar to something like the Pixies. I neglected to mention them in the previous video, but the Pixies were a sort of proto-grunge band. And Nirvana even cites Pixies as a major influence. Incelcore is basically if 4chan made a Pixies cover band, so perhaps there is nothing truly new under the sun, but I do think that Incelcore is a fresh enough twist on grunge to be worth noting. Some other Incelcore bands include Fried by Fluoride,
I watch too much YouTube, I ate too much junk food, had too many vaccines, now something's wrong with me,
Hard Christ,
You think that you're so funny, I wish that you'd stop talking, you're really fucking stupid, I wish you'd get abducted.
Jezebel Gabergably,
Such a fucking loser, 'cause I don't see the point in leaving behind my toys and spending a life employed. Such a fucking loser.
and Cyborg 9K. This genre of rock is quite niche, and I don't think it'll ever reach the status of the Big Four of grunge, or anything like that. I think the provocative and embarrassing subject matter, not to mention the terrible production quality, preclude it from ever becoming popular. But quite frankly, I just find it so refreshing to hear something, anything that is different coming out of rock music these days. I'm fatigued of a lot of modern metalcore, and I'm not even an elitist or anything. I love myself some melodic metalcore, like All That Remains and Avenged Sevenfold. However, perhaps it is indicative of how stagnated metal has become, that I'd rather listen to some Incelcore than whatever is on Sirius XM's Liquid Metal's top charts. I think that the strongest aspect of Incelcore is the satire. Not only do these artists make fun of themselves, but they also have pretty scathing commentaries on, wait for it, society. While apathy was common in both styles, grunge was much more complacent. They were more or less okay with things, even if they were jaded about it. I think the Nirvana lyric, "I'm on a plane and I can't complain," sums up the attitude. This attitude is of someone constantly at square one, feeling like they never get anywhere, but also feeling whatever about it. Incelcore is much more far gone than this. There's almost a learned helplessness to it. It points out a bunch of societal ills, but then remarks that they are too much of a loser to even contribute to fixing society, even if they wanted to. The most viral Incelcore song at the moment is Negative XP's Scott Pilgrim vs. the World ruined an entire generation of women.
Retarded views on politics, likes to listen to shitty music. She drinks and smokes and toasts out of a dirty bong. She saw Ramona Flowers and felt so empowered by a movie made in Hollywood.
Is a track that condemns the current culture and the disastrous effects it's had on dating, and is extremely harsh towards millennial women.
30 years old, but acts like she's 16. Likes to go to shows cause she's so fucking cool. Only pedophiles in denial, think she's anything worthwhile.
But here's the catch. It ends with this.
But honestly, I'd still hit if I could.
He shrugs and says if you can't beat him, join him. But it's even worse than that. It's if he could, meaning despite his resignation and complete surrendering of all standards and morality, he still isn't allowed to participate in the society which he hates. Grunge could only dream of being this cynical. Even the name Negative XP is significant. XP is short for experience points, which for those who aren't gamers like me, means the resources you accumulate in order to level up. Fictional currency, essentially. So unlike grunge's feeling of nothingness, Incelcore is at a level below zero. It is the feeling of having experience points in the negatives, hence negative XP. Starting from square one would actually be a massive step up from this position. Incelcore is really just one massive parody of Gen Z.
KYLE drinks Monster Energy. Plays this video game all day. That's the truth. All them kids.
A generation watching the world fall apart, but are too addicted to porn and video games to do anything about it. Whether you view it as a tragedy or a comedy depends on your point of view, but I wanted to talk about it because even if it's some really obscure niche internet thing that no one takes seriously or even really listens to, I think it taps into something real, and I wanted to discuss it in a way that doesn't just treat Incelcore as one giant joke, throwing around a bunch of pepes and talking about how based misogyny is, or on the other side of the coin, clutching pearls and talking about how this music will incite violence against women. Oh no. If you have this reaction, you are no different than those trying to cancel Ozzy and Manson back in the 80s and 90s. Metal is all about extremes, even if in this case, that just means extremely pathetic. Incelcore takes grunge's nihilism to the extreme, completely and utterly black-pilled.
Black-pilled again, black-pilled again, I need a friend, I want a friend. Black-pilled again, black-pilled again, I need a girlfriend, I want a girlfriend.
But there's still hope. From rock bottom, the only way is up. In contrast to grunge, there is a hint of idealism here, even if it is coated in irony. I will leave off with the song Negative XP by Negative XP, as I think it shows a yearning spirit for self-improvement.
It's hard to be the man I want to be, with so many things distracting me. So don't waste my time, don't bother me. I need to undo my idiosyncrasies. My system's glitch, I'm losing energy. I'm playing the game with negative XP.
Thank you for watching this unconventional episode. Next up is epic doom metal. Metal's overcomplicated genres continues, as we ask ourselves, what's in a genre?
This song is called Last Song Kills Audience. It'll be our last song tonight, and your last song ever.
Man, I just wanna go flex, gold on my teeth and on my neck.